All right, well, welcome to the presentation. Today we are going to be talking about emergency response kits. Um, I am with Black Swan Outdoors. We're a blog, primarily website that we focus on outdoor skills and things around security culture. Every Tuesday we do a post on Tradecraft Tuesday, which is spycraft that we do. So we do a number of different things in and around kind of the security culture, and also talk about politics and some of the mostly domestic politics and cultural threats that are threatening America. So if you're interested in these types of topics, we have a lot of information about that, and domestic violence, domestic terror, as well as other areas outside of just outdoor skills. So um, this presentation is really just about sparking a conversation, or kind of sparking some thoughts that you might have on a response kit. The idea of a response kit has been around for a long, long time. There's very common on YouTube in particular, to find videos on bug out bags and different types of ways in which people respond to emergencies. This is a little bit different because this is about responding to an emergency in context with other people, where you're creating kind of community defense. And the idea here is that we are going to be modular in our equipment, and thoughtful in how we transport this equipment and match that equipment to the threat environment. So it's not just kind of a general kit, like one bug out bag, one bag to solve all problems. This is about identifying unique situations in our community and putting together kits that help that are modular and help address those specific needs, instead of something very kind of um, you know non-specific, so to speak. Um, so when we're talking about this, we're talking about creating kind of my words are a community defense team. You could call this a mutual aid group. You could call this neighborhood watch if you wanted to. The idea is that this is a grassroots organization that's focused on helping your community, similar to that of the civil defense back in the Cold War days, except for being organized by the government. This is organized by community members or individuals in a neighborhood. This could be a friends group, this could be a formal group, this could be a family, this could be whatever it is, groups of people that are working together to respond to the emergencies that might be unique to their neighborhoods. So many different instances abound in which you'd want to organize. So some of these things are natural disasters, such as hurricanes and pandemics, earthquakes, flooding, and severe storms, things like that. Being in that community could be helpful to responding. So trees go down, there's somebody there who's can quickly get out and make way for medical vehicles, or other people from traffic, from in traffic, to get out, or houses get blown away. You have the ability to throw up some tents quickly and put people in cover before more formal shelter is determined. So the idea is, being if you're locally, you can respond to your specific needs. There's, of course, man-made threats too. These are becoming more and more common, especially in the domestic terror and mass casualty area. We're certainly seeing a lot more of those issues. Then there's also search and rescue. Sometimes it takes a while for police and other safety entities to either coalesce and get people together, or sometimes they just don't even do it at all. To be quite frank, this is something very common, especially in minority communities, where people go missing, and the law enforcement agency or fire department, whoever, just doesn't do anything to respond, and so sometimes taking on um, you know assistance, or taking this on themselves is easier, quicker, when you can respond. If you have a drone, you could run a drone, find this Alzheimer patient that's walked off, or a brother, or whatever, or uncle. And then there's domestic violence. Certainly this has been a big problem in the past, and with COVID has become an even bigger problem. And a lot of times people don't feel comfortable calling the police in around domestic violence issues. A lot of times people have bad experiences with domestic violence and calling the police, because the police don't always side on the side of the victim, or do things necessary to protect the victim. So, for example, removing firearms from a house doesn't often happen effectively. So, and then there's instances like the hazmat instance of oil spill, even radiological issues like we saw in Japan. So anything like that could happen where having some additional assistance could be helpful. And there are roles that civilians can play, and I think that this is kind of an important part of being an active engaged in your society. So certainly there are also public events that can go haywire. We've seen this in the last few years with political rallies and parade celebrations. There was a bombing at the Boston, Marathon, for example, to a lot of far right and conservative white hate demonstrations that have been going on, particularly around the Confederate monuments, but also had a lot of these groups have organized through formal political structures as well. And they have been gaining a lot of ground in many communities around the United States. So these are certainly big events in which individuals in the community can and should respond to. So responding to these different types of threats are going to come with different types of assignments. So you might be asked to do many different things, so you'd want to be ready for those things. A lot of times they're just going to be based around some kind of base station, whether it be at a hospital, someone's home, a formal incident command center, or some kind of fixed command post. But quite frankly, most of this stuff is going to be kind of a field portable situation where you're going to need to kind of assemble your resources out in the field. This could be kind of a makeshift shelter or intake center. This could be a rest area, aid station. If you see if there's some protests going on, you want to create kind of a safe space where people can come in and get hydrated, rest, get some basic first aid, that kind of thing. Is always good. And then there's the ability to stay mobile, completely mobile, either like a mobile command post or radio propagation. This is very common in the ham radio communities where they're creating kind of a mobile radio relay station or repeater station that they can respond to different shadow zones in radio propagation. This could also be supporting individuals for a transportation unit, getting people to and from a demonstration area or a ground zero of a tornado, to helping getting people to hospital or transporting people away from danger. If you had a van or a truck or something where you could, pile people in and get them out of the dangerous situation. So there's many different ways in which we can provide aid. Certainly there's communications, creating kind of a command and control center, which is very helpful in terms of when you have a group of people, that you can create a sense of connecting people with their own communication structure. I think is very helpful. But then also, distribution of food, water, and clothing. We talked about search and rescue. We talked about transporting people. We talked about rendering first aid. It could be also creating a defensive perimeter around an area to keep looters at bay, or keep people who might be dangerous to other people at bay as well. So these lengths of assignments are not going to be terribly long. At the longest, probably 72 hours. By that time, official emergency procedures are in place and things are happening. But there's this golden hour of time between that 72 hours of an incident. And so the quicker you can respond, the more likely you are to survive. Like if it's a natural disaster, for example, if you can survive those first 72 hours, you're golden. I mean, you're pretty good. You're in pretty good shape. So a lot of our response times might be limited to short durations, under 24 hours, maybe overnight. Probably at the most, you're looking at 2 or 3 days, and in very rare cases, I would think anything longer than 72 hours. But the reality is, just get in, help out, and then at some point you need to step back and let the professionals do their job and do their thing. But to be able to be there initially, I think, could be beneficial for a lot of people. So when we're talking about putting together a kit, the idea is we have a pre-stage collection of kits for personal gear that's going to help you do your job or volunteer or mobilize when that mobilization happens. So your response kit has to be tailored to your specific needs. the equipment that you have, and then your expected assignments and the expected length of time that you might be called for to do this. So I think everyone has an idea of the type of response that they might have to the different threats in their community. And I think as a group, we should be talking about who's better at what, and what these assignments could be. So having a response kit is going to be able to get you to be self-sufficient in case there is no power, there is no food, there is nothing available to you. Gives you the ability to be self-sufficient. As a team member, you must provide your own gear, and you must be responsible for your own welfare and safety. And this process, this packing process, helps you with that. So when you're building your kit, this ensures that you are available, your items that you need are going to be available when you need them, and where they are when you expect them to need that. So your response kit should be tailored to you, your needs, your equipment, and to break up that response kit into sub kits or smaller kits, so that you can be more modular in the way that you respond, and then also places where you're going to store those kits. So when that mobilization call comes, you know where your stuff is. You don't have to hunt for that. If anyone is familiar or not familiar with the mobilization process, I have an example of an SOP for mobilization that you can find in our free downloads on our blog, as well as a list of the items that we're going to be talking about in the kits today, as well. So different types of incidents are going to happen, different types of assignments are going to happen, and different types of length assignments are going to happen. So you might want to store your things appropriate to these things. So you might want to say keep something in your car, things on your person at all times, or you might want to cache some things strategically at an office or friend's house, or place of business. You also might want to be aware of the things that are non-cached equipment, things that you can gather from different places based on locations in and around your location as well. So again, the whole idea here is that it was a modular concept. So we're talking about lots of smaller kits that are easily transportable, based on what you're going to be doing and how long you're going to be doing it. My advice to you would be to think about how you're putting together kits so that they supplement each other. So you're always building off of the kits. So you don't have to, if you don't have any place to start, you start with the most simplest things and build yourself out to more complex or more specialized area. So starting with your everyday carry EDC, and then ending with kind of a specialized area, like if you wanted to specialize in radio propagation, to go into kind of that track, that's the equipment then that you're going to build out. So the foundations of this is going to be a go bag, which is going to be something that you want to keep with you at all times, or most of the time if you can. So keeping that in your vehicle or around you for quick, immediate access, something that you can carry on foot, preferably. And then there's a 72-hour kit or a bug out bag or whatever you want to call it, or get out of Dodge bag or whatever, that is going to be able to supplement that go kit, kind of give you the ability to extend your time into that window, that 3-day window. Specialty kits that we're going to talk about here, they could be anything from overnight camping gear. It could be a vehicle kit to help keep your vehicle operational. It could be evacuation kit specific to you, your needs. It could be a portable radio kit. It could be protective gear, and so on and so forth. So you can kind of come up with your own kind of specialty kits to supplement then that 72-hour kit and go bag that you may have already put together. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at what's inside my kits, to maybe kind of, again, spark any kind of interest or thoughts that you might have. So we'll start first with the everyday carries. For those that aren't familiar with that, these are the items that you're going to carry on your person all the time. So this is your wallet, keys, sunglasses, pocket knife, things like that. And this is going to be that foundation that's going to build out that go bag, preferably. So in my kit, I carry an ankle first aid kit, an IFAK, that has some additional items like a escape invasion kit, cash, a weapon, a kind of stab tool. Of course, my COVID mask, flashlight, pocket knife, wallet, keys, which are not shown here, and then a concealed carry weapon that I have a spare magazine as well. So with that, then, when these items aren't on my pocket or on my person, then these items go into my go bag. So this go bag then is either left in my car or brought into the house when I leave. So it's always kind of in between. It's always kind of moving around where I'm at. So with that, then I have some more capability. So I have things to deal with weather and the environment, like hats, bandana, gloves, things like that, and also protective device, protective equipment, some lockpick equipment that I have, and notepad, pen, pencil, paper, and that kind of stuff. Another flashlight. So what I like to do is I go with my 10 essentials is like from hiking, which we have a presentation on. But then I add like the 5 urban essentials as kind of my thing, where you have money as one, you have communication capability, you have power capability, you have protective capability, so like a firearm or a knife or something like that, and then you have your personal protective equipment of some kind, like gloves and sunglasses, ear protection, things like that, that's going to help you. So these are the 5 urban things that you would have in just an urban context that you wouldn't have in, say, the wilderness. So from there, here's my covert entry kit. So this is going to help you get past locks. So I have common keys that are very commonly used in many different manufactured locks, and then the lockpick set, as well as some bypass tools to go along with that. Again, this is more of a specialty thing that I carry because this is a special, specialty skill that I have. Not everybody might need that. This is just an example of an escape invasion kit, very simple. So I have my telemeter, which I use for a lot of travel. You can judge, height of things and the depth of a well and all sorts of different kind of trigonometry functions on there. It's kind of a neat little kind of card-sized computer, a compass, a pen, which is super handy, some lock picking tools, a little signal mirror, and then a hook that you can use to get out of a building if you are locked in for whatever reason. So just some kind of basic tools, again, in and around areas of my particular interests. So when we get into communications, I have kind of what I call my communications travel kit. And this is basically just some basic communication stuff that's very transportable, and I can keep it in my go bag, or put it in my go bag, or keep it in my 72-hour kit. So I have a shortwave radio, ham radio, I'm a ham radio license. But one of these Baofeng UV5Rs, very common, very cheap, and you can monitor radio. You don't have to transmit on it if you don't have a license, you can't transmit, but you can listen. Battery bank that could run my laptop and tablet off of, but also self-charging with solar, and then additional batteries and antennas for radio propagation communication. The 72-hour kit, this is, again, something that's going to provide more comfort. I've packed this so that I could transport this. I could take this on a plane if I needed to, minus shears. I think that's the only thing that I can't. It's not TSA approved, so I'd have to remove those. Otherwise, I can pretty much pack and carry anything that I have on here. The idea is added comfort. So I have toiletry items, towel, a shell, layers of clothing, binoculars, flashlights, sunscreen, some more first aid supplies, and food. So pretty simple. The idea here is not to overpack the pack, so you can add more kits into it as necessary. So then I have what I just call the defensive loadout bag. So this is clothing and shelter items for a longer period of time where my environment might change, or I need to have a change of clothes for whatever function I'm at. So I live in the upper Midwest, so I want to be ready for all seasons. When it gets colder, I start putting in cold weather gear and as an addition. Otherwise, everything that you see here is about is the full kit essentially. So boots, layers, and then of course I have a chest pack that I carry that I can use for either carrying more ammunition if necessary, but more communication supplies, hiking supplies, things like that. It's a little more transferable or usable in different contexts than it is just a straight like chest rig that I would have, like a military chest rig. So it gives me a little bit more flexibility if you're in and around people to be prepared and have that. Medical kit's very, very important. So this is my home medical kit that I keep. So this is everything that I would have at home. But again, it's transferable, so I can grab that kit and take it anywhere. So I have anything from to deal with musculoskeletal issues, medications, assessment tools, bandages, things of that nature. All the stuff that you would need essentially to respond to emergency. That's all kind of basic first aid type gear. Nothing in the kind of EMT or first responder realm, minus just a few kind of trauma gear that I have inside there. But otherwise, this is focused on non-traumatic injuries. I have an IFAK that I have packed on my ankle. I've got a second IFAK in the go bag. I'm sorry, in the 72-hour bag. I have supplemental trauma gear in the go bag. I don't feel like I need more trauma gear necessarily in this pack. It's focused on kind of longer term, low intensity type illnesses and injuries. Then assisting myself with this, if you're carrying weapons, I think you need to carry weapons in a safe and responsible way. So having it in a case. So I carry 2 pistols, one broken down, 223, as well as a 9mm. The case itself has the means of slings, lights, batteries, cleaning kit. So it has the means to clean the weapons and maintain the weapons, particularly if this is going to be a longer term assignment. I think this is helpful. It's set to be a kind of a grab and go kit, so I can grab it and go and have everything that I need. It's all self-contained. There's a shelf in that pistol kit that flips over, and I can use it as a platform for cleaning my supplies. So I can take this to the range, for example, clean my weapons, have everything that I need. And then lastly, it serves as kind of what's called a tactical nightstand. This is a reference to Clint Emerson's 100 Deadly Skills, where I can actually set this up in even a hotel room or anywhere and have the capability to quickly get the tools that I need if there's like a bump in the night or something they need to respond to at night. Certainly, if I felt like I needed the pistol set up, I could have that preset. It wouldn't necessarily have to be in the case. But again, I want to be able to lock everything up and keep it safe, keep these types of tools away from prying eyes or people of taking advantage of opportunities. So when we get to communications kit, this is an area in which I specialize in. I have a ham radio license. So I wanted to create kind of an off-grid communication setup that's modular. So in my kit, this Go kit comes with a 2-meter so VHF, VHF capability. I have the travel Baofeng UV5R as well as the one that's in my go bag. So I have not only the base station, but then 2 other handsets that I can use. So I can set up a relay station with my travel kit, or I can hand the handhelds out to 2 additional people while I'm operating the base station. I have the ability to monitor through shortwave radio, all FM, AM bands, shortwave bands, and ham bands, HF bands, but additional bands through the tablet on there through DSLR as well. I have then also a Pirate Box in this capability, so we can set up a local grid or network. So let's say if we're looking for a lost dog or a lost person, we can transfer files, pictures, and whatnot to other people that are all in the network. So they just scan their phone onto an NFC tag. They have then the address, the browser address to be able to get into the Pirate Box remotely from their phone, and we can start sharing information. We can chat, and we can share pictures on that. This has a complete ability to be run on AC, DC, as well as charging anything that needs to be charged. So people can charge their cell phones here. They can charge flashlights. They have the ability to charge rechargeable batteries as well. And so it has kind of a plethora of different types of capability. Inside the computer, or inside the radio, we have a small battery. So it's it can run for 6 to 8 hours, depending on how much traffic we're running, as well as an inverter. So we can plug computers and things like that as well with, say, if we're running it off of a car. I can run this off of a generator, and then I can run this off of solar panels as well. So, which comes with kind of the auxiliary gear that you want to have to help supplement. So here are the solar panels with a charge controller. I have all my forms, different types of communication forms in SOI plans, extension cords, different types of connection cords that you might need. With the radio, I have a Yagi antenna, which is helpful for pinpointing location or sending more kind of covert information if you needed to. And then a large deep cell battery. And then above the extension cord is an antenna for on top of my car. And what you don't see is another antenna, which is kind of a 20-foot mast that can be broken down and seen. So with that, then we have, or I have my cache boxes. So this is something that you put together that's going to help increase your capability. So we have food, we have flares, we have water, we have ammo, we have batteries, we have first aid supplies. And so the idea here is that you can use this cache kit you can dip into it if you need to yourself, or you have the means to drop these kits as needed so people can resupply, say a resupply if they have to walk a long distance, or they need, you want to give somebody some resources. You see someone that needs a bottle of water. You don't have to dip into your water. You have this set aside basically to give out to somebody else. So you can manage this additional equipment as needed, and it's in a protective case. So you can hide it somewhere. You can literally throw it out a window if you needed to of a moving vehicle to get somebody more, some beneficial supplies. One of the areas that a lot of times people miss when they're talking about bug out bags and different types of kits is if you're traveling with a dependent and having supplies for them, so additional kits. For myself, it's a pet. So, I want to be ready from an evacuation standpoint or responding standpoint to be able to take my dog. So I have everything that I would need traveling wise to take care of her. So again, we're looking at her comfort in terms of, not needing to dip into other people's food or other people's, stuff, medical supplies, her needs that she needs. She's going to be completely self-contained. And then we have our camping gear. So this is anything that we'd need for overnight. Everything is ready to go. I put it in the platform of a canoe pack because I find it to be really well, it functions really well in terms of packing in a vehicle as well as a canoe, but it also has straps to be able to carry this as a backpack as well. So if I need to go into an area, say there's a wooded area off of a parking lot, which I've done before, where you can walk 20, 30 yards in and not be seen set up a camp and camp out. That's something you can definitely do, or a rest area for even. So you have the ability to, move into someone's backyard, set up a camp, and be, again, self-contained. I can be completely comfortable for weeks on end with this, just adding food, and I can even produce my own water with this kit. So because I'm driving in a vehicle, I have the ability to carry some extra tools and use my car as essentially as for auxiliary supplies for other people, or a cache. So everything that I have carry with me on my person, I have packed duplicate into my car, so that if I'm with somebody who's not as prepared as I am, I can completely kit them out with food, water, web gear, clothing, even rain gear, a knife, the things that they might need. In addition to that, I have all the tools that you might need to keep your car operational, and I have some other kind of civil defense type tools such as hammer, hatchets, bolt cutters, nails, things like that that you might find handy. And lastly, then I have a vehicle-based survival kit, which we have a video on that's up right now on YouTube that you can see as well. So lots of capability in the car. And the idea here is that all of this stuff is not things that if I were to lose or need to give away, it's no big deal. So if my car were to be break down, I had to leave this gear, I'm not going to think twice about it. It's gone. The more expensive stuff, the better stuff, whatever I need is going to be in my other kits. This is all just gravy, things that you can dip into, or if you're caught without your other kits, that you can get to this stuff because you're going to be in and around your car quite a bit, as we are probably, most of the time while we're driving around, going to and from work and friends' houses and things like that. So why carry a bag when you have pretty much everything kind of squirreled away in your vehicle? So with that, one thing that I find is very important is not only to know where you keep your gear and how to get to it in an emergency, but then when you load it up into your vehicle, to have it done in such a way that you know where everything is going to be at and your teammates are going to know where everything is at. So if they need to get it, if someone needs to get a first aid kit, they know exactly where to go in your car as it's packed. Or if you're if you get into a car accident, that it's loaded in such a way that it's not creating more liability by hurting somebody, with packs flying around as well. So everything is secured and kept in specific areas, and everybody knows where that equipment is going to be so they can get to it if need be. So we want to make sure that, again, everything is nice and secured in that vehicle. So my load plan looks like this, and at least in the back. There's a video online, or there will be a video online if it's not already up, on a walkthrough of the load plan. But again, I can get to my pistol if I need to from the back, cooler for food and water, first aid kit readily available, and in the very back is my camping kit, because I'm not going to need that until we get to a site that we might be camping at. So all of kind of the personal defense and protective type stuff up front, and food, and then in the back more kind of auxiliary items, camping items, and then further back from that are kind of more kind of that cached stuff, that extra stuff to have with me. So all in all, these are just a few. I have more kits, more suggestions of the videos that are coming online and as well. So you can check out a lot of the videos, the breakdown on this. If you want a list of some of the gear items I have the most updated version also on the blog, www.blackswanoutdoors.com. So you can download that list, as well as seeing the different videos breaking down all those different items. So the goal here is just to start the conversation about what you think you might need in a response kit, how you might put that together. These were just some ideas. If you'd like to leave some comments down below, I'd love to hear what you would add, what you would subtract, things that you've done that are handy, so that the community here can learn from you as well. So thanks for your attention, and be sure to visit our website. Again, that's www.blackswanoutdoors.com.